Growing up in St. Louis, we had a saying that if you don't like the weather today, just wait a few minutes. We don't have that saying in California somehow. It's the weather is kind of the same every day. Anyway, with that sidebar out of the way, if you don't like what's going on in the stock market, yesterday, well, just wait a minute. It appears that the markets are signaling that they think their concerns about Israel are over, that the war is probably, winding down. Something's going to happen. We've got potentially the leadership in Iran flying to Oman. Their reasons for flying there might be, according to some reporting, they might be going there to enter into talks. They might be going there to flee the country. Anyway, there's a little confusion about exactly what that's all about. We've got B-52s carrying bunker busters in the air, someplace over in the world, headed towards that region. Don't know whether they're going to be deployed or not. And President Trump is making it clear that he's not going to give away his plan for what's going to happen when those planes do get into the region. It only takes 14 hours, apparently, from the point that they leave to get there. I don't know if that's round trip or if that's just one way, but anyway, I would guess that they are, at this point, clearly fairly close to the region. Lots and lots of crazy stuff going on. So let's start with this. Elon Musk says this morning in response to a post by one particular individual. He says, so many improvements to come in the next design of Optimus. Well, come on, Elon. Could you give us a little more? All right, Gary Black this morning. I'm going to be concentrating on Gary Black because Gary is for all the harassment that we give Gary, and for some people who just completely think he's worthless as an analyst. I don't agree with any of that. I think that he does a fine job. Now, he's been doing these catalyst lists for a very long time, and he put one out yesterday. So let's go through it here. Number one, Trump streamlines the federal process, allowing Tesla to secure general unsupervised autonomous licensing nationally. This would be a definite catalyst. Now, that seems to be moving along. I would like to be able to say that we've got the same thing happening in Europe, China, and at the UN. And we are definitely seeing progress in all of those places. So I would think Gary would have been more complete in saying that it would be good to see progress on this everywhere. But the U.S. would be obviously by far the most important, and also probably the one that's going to happen within the next couple of months. Number two, he says a more affordable vehicle launch in 2025 third quarter can expand the TAM if it's different in its form factor. It's a hatchback or a smaller Model Y. Again, I'm just going to make a comment here. The more affordable vehicle launch will expand the TAM, whether it is a smaller Model Y or whether it is a less expensive version of the Model Y or Model 3. As long as we get the cost down, it will be more affordable and it will increase the TAM, Gary. But yeah, you're right. If it is a different look, and that's what I'm hoping for, that's what I would like to see, it will definitely increase sales. Number three, and probably increase the stock price. Number three says is FSD licensing deal with one or more OEMs. A lot of conversation about that on this channel, and it seems like that would be something very, very smart for an OEM to do, and to do it soon. So we would expect that to happen. Number four, Tesla likely first to market with generalized unsupervised FSD full year by the end of the year. This is a big one. I actually responded incorrectly now that I reread this to Gary. I asked how come he didn't have that down as a catalyst, and he did. I just misread it. Must have read it too fast. So yes, you've been hearing me say, I think this is the biggest catalyst of all. Once Tesla becomes completely unsupervised on FSD, I think it will be the best feature ever on a vehicle, and people will buy it just for that. Number five, he says the Delaware Supreme Court overturning Chancellor McCormick's 2018 compensation ruling later this year. That would certainly, I think, be a catalyst. If it happens, of course, we don't know which way it's going to go. Number 6, Cybercab production beginning in 2026. My understanding is that if it does, it'll be small numbers. I'm sorry, 2026. Yes, I'm sorry, almost misread that. Yeah, so we should see Cybercab production beginning in 2026, and that should be a catalyst a little bit at least. And then 7, Optimus production beginning in late 2026. I don't know where he's getting that number. There's nothing remotely like that anywhere. So Optimus production begins now. As far as we know, they are going to be making them in quantity later this year. They'll be ramping in 2026. It might be late 2026 before they start ramping significant volumes, but no, Optimus production starts now. And they'll be, of course, as you well know, used for the Tesla factory at this point. And then number 8 should have been, but he didn't put it in for some reason, semi-production beginning in early 2026, maybe even late 2025. Not sure why he left that out. I would also think that maybe number 9 should have been something to do with Shanghai production ramping on Megapacks and the beginning of production in the Houston or whatever they're going to call that facility. Anyway, those would have been important ones. I'm not sure why those were left out. Negative catalyst, he says. Number 1, Trump eliminates the $7,500 IRA EV purchase credit. That is a negative catalyst, but it's built into the price. I'm sure that some of this price action over the last couple of days has been about that. The Trump administration restricts state efforts to control carbon emissions, which could significantly reduce the ZEV sales. Yes, that also, I think, is in the numbers of the last couple of days. I don't think that'll be a new negative catalyst. Number 3, Tesla fails to introduce a new, cheaper form factor. If they don't come out with a a Model 2 or Model Q or less affordable vehicle at all, I agree that would be a negative catalyst, although I'm beginning to think that might be built into the numbers too, because they've been so stealthy about this introduction that some people are beginning to think it's not going to happen at all. Number 4, full year 25 EPS expectations continue to fall as I think all the numbers, all the negative possibilities are almost all in, maybe not quite. There could be some additional slippage in the price of the stock based on that. But by the time we really get into that, we will have the rollout in Austin happening. And I believe once the rollout starts, as you well know, that we should be seeing FOMO now, according to Randy. But we've got a lot of things that have kind of gotten in the way of that. But once it starts rolling out and there's no accidents and no mishaps, I believe we'll begin to see the action that will only barely be touched by things like missing the unit sales numbers. So that comes down to my basic theorem here, which is if Elon is if Tesla is super unlucky and we have some kind of a mishap in the first couple of weeks and it's significant, or we have multiple mishaps and they're significant, I'd be shocked. I think it's less than a 1% chance that that's going to happen. I know that sounds like Randy optimism, but Elon Musk is not going to put vehicles on the road in Austin that are not ready to go. Just not going to happen. He's not a risk taker in that way. He takes risks. He's a major risk taker, but he doesn't take risks in that way. He launches these rockets out of Texas, the Starships, and they blow up. That's risky behavior, but he doesn't put them on the stand until they are ready to go. And he acknowledges when they take off that they're still in testing phase, but he doesn't take risks ever. And he's not taking a risk in Austin. In fact, I'm pretty sure I would be way riskier in my behavior right now than he is. He is saying we're going to put safety first by a mile, and also reputation. Tesla's, Gary says, his 6 to 12 month price target is 310. Since we're sitting at that number now, that's not a very risky bet, Gary. We continue to like Tesla longer term, but we remain concerned about the near-term asymmetrical risk reward associated with the Austin rollout. Well, that's what I just talked about. I don't see it as asymmetrical. I see it as, well, maybe asymmetrical, like 99% chance it's going to be successful and the stock goes to the moon, and a 1% chance that something goes badly wrong and the stock tanks. And in order to go badly wrong, it would have to mean like, like cruise, like pulling back and not even continuing the project or something. I mean, it's just nonsense. Barron's has it this way. The stock is sure to be volatile. Tesla stock is sure to be volatile before and after the launch. Deciding what to do with the shares might depend on an investor's time horizon. Shares of the electric vehicle were up 0.4% in pre-market. Yeah, but they're up way more than that now. Tesla stock dropped 3.9 yesterday, but that followed gains of 1.9 and 1.2 on Friday and Monday. So they're, but it's has way more to do than the Austin rollout, all kinds of other things whipshawing the stock right now. You need to know that you need to know if you're a trader or you're an investor, says Zacks stock strategist Andrew Rocco. We have quoted this guy before. He runs Zacks Technology Innovators portfolio, which holds Tesla stock. There isn't anything wrong with being either one of those two things, as I've said on this channel a million times. Traders, however, typically have a shorter time horizon and might be looking to take profits in Tesla stock which is up 33% since the company's April 22nd earnings report coming into Wednesday's trading. And the launch carries risks. There can be delays, hiccups, app issues, protests, or even accidents. Traders don't want to deal with any of that. So there could be delays. Yes, there's always that possibility, although it's getting less and less likely. Hiccups, I'm not sure what that means. There could be app issues. I highly doubt there'll be app issues. There could be protests, and that could be a problem, but that won't really, I don't think, hurt the stock. Many investors are likely to take a longer-term view, though. With the launch, people are going to price in robotaxi. I think people are starting to realize that Tesla will be able to catch up with Waymo and overtake them pretty rapidly just because of scalability, as we've been saying on this channel forever. Essentially, any Tesla sold in the past few years can become a robotaxi, and Tesla can make more than 800,000 Model 3 and Model Y vehicles in the U.S. annually. Waymo, which successfully completes 250,000 self-driving taxi rides a week, has a fleet of roughly 1,500 cars. Tesla can have as many robotaxis on the road as it wants, or as regulators allow. That, of course, depends on a smooth launch. Still, an actual robotaxi service would be compelling evidence that the company's AI initiatives can yield results. That is the bull case anyway. Some bearish investors are willing to give Tesla credit for robotaxi yet, are not willing to give Tesla credit for robotaxi yet, and instead focus on falling car sales and not paying any attention even to rising energy sales. Bulls and bears disagreeing on the outlook for Tesla is nothing new. As I mentioned yesterday, we have a range of price targets from 110 to 500, and that doesn't count my price target of 1,000, or Brian Wang, who's been right in the past, at 1,500 for later this year. This is Randy Kirk. Please hit like, subscribe, notify, and all that stuff. Join Patreon. You guys aren't joining Patreon. You guys just think I'm too rich, right? It's not about how much money I have or don't have, and I'm not as wealthy as you think. It's all about whether I'm contributing to your life. If I am making any impact on your decisions to trade or not trade, and I'm not trying to give you investment advice, I'm trying to give you life advice. I'm trying to give you news and information that's valuable and useful to your day. I spend about 10 to 11 hours a day, 7 days a week, putting this together for you. And many of you you tell me you watch 2, 3 of these a day. And believe me, that is the biggest benefit. That is the biggest income that I receive from doing this. But the Patreon income is important. And some of my competitors, and they're friendly competitors, but some of my competitors have very substantial income from Patreon. But for some reason, y'all have decided not to give me substantial income from Patreon. It's okay. It's not bad. I'll tell you right now, it's on the order of $500 a month. $500 a month from a bunch of folks, 7,000, 12, 10,000, 15,000 people watching a day, $500 a month. So anyway, I'm just saying, if you're getting something from this, if I'm making a contribution that's valuable to you as a trader, as an investor, or just for entertainment value because I'm silly or optimistic or enthusiastic or whatever it might be, Come on now. I'm very concerned about the Democrats. I mean, I'm really, really, really concerned about the Democrats. You know, it's always a bad thing when your opponent or when an opponent or somebody that's in a situation where they're in a competitive situation, when they feel completely defeated and cornered. And right now, the Democrats are completely, they're like the Iranians, they are completely defeated, and I think they're feeling cornered. And as a result, they have even after an amazingly good day on Saturday, getting 5 million or however many people came out to the various protests. The protests were useless and valueless because they didn't have a theme that had continuity. They didn't have something to say. They didn't have an alternative plan. All they did was say no, 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 and no, no, no is never a good plan. And all they are doing now is they're giving us a daily dose of fighting with police officials, fighting with ICE officials, actually assaulting our police. And this is not a good look. And then they're turning around and they're doing TV programming where they're saying, well, we did nothing wrong. We were completely in the right. And no, we didn't assault any ICE officials. And look at the video. You can see with your own eyes. I mean, they're literally saying that. And yet I've watched the videos and I can see with my own eyes that they are pushing and shoving and trying to bust through where police are saying, don't go further, stand down, don't do that. And then they're being arrested, and then they're being let out by their fellow Democrats. This is not a good look, Democrats. It just doesn't look good to just lie to our faces about stuff that we can see visually. In 60 years of watching politics, I mean, literally over 60 years of watching politics. I started when I was 14, actually, I guess 16, 15, 16 in the Goldwater election. That's when I started working the precincts. I've never seen the complete lawlessness that is on display at this point. I mean, the Democrats are just completely violating the law repeatedly and in front of our own faces. And then after they break the laws, they tell us that they didn't break the laws and we can see it. This is crazy. I just don't know what happens. What do you think happens? I'd love to hear what you're thinking. Building permits today. Privately owned housing units authorized by building permits in May were at a seasonally adjusted annual rate of 1.393 million. This is 2% below the revised April rate, 1% below the May rate, and way below the projection by experts who thought it would be down, but not this far down. Single family authorizations in May were at a rate of 898,000, which is 2.7% below the revised April figure. Authorizations of units and buildings with 5 or more units were at a rate of 444,000 in May, and it didn't give whether that was down or up. I'm sorry. Housing starts, privately owned housing starts in May were at a seasonally adjusted annual rate of 1.256 million, which is 9.8% below the revised April estimate and 4.6% below May. Single-family housing starts in May were at a rate of 924,000, which is also below 4.4% below the revised April figure. And the May rate for units and buildings with 5 or more was 316,000. All of these numbers are lower than expected and lower than previous months and are indicative of a couple of things. I think they're mostly indicative of the fact that people are still a little hesitant to make these big purchases right now, given a lot of uncertainty in things like tariffs and employment, et cetera. But I think there's another thing in play that nobody's talking about. You have no illegal immigrants coming into the United States. You know, oh, well, the illegal immigrants aren't going to buy housing, well, but they're going to rent apartments. The housing market is one thing. Please understand. If you don't understand this, listen up. The housing market is one thing. You have rentals and you have people that own, but the pressure, and you have apartments and you have single family dwellings, but it's all one thing. People are always making a decision between going into or going back to rentals or owning. They're making decisions about apartments versus single family. And as they make these decisions, Any pressure anywhere in the system puts pressure on the whole system. So if you have illegal immigrants coming into the country and they have to rent an apartment, when they rent that apartment, it takes an apartment off the market. And if there are lots and lots and lots of illegal immigrants coming in, they take lots of apartments off the market, and that puts pressure upward. Well, if you don't have any illegal immigrants coming into the market, there's no pressure. And if you have some people going back to their country of origin, then that takes even more pressure off the market. Nobody's reporting on this. If you say, tell me, show me, give me a link if you've seen anybody else reporting on that. I don't understand why they're not. Okay, we have got in the week ending June 14th, the advanced figure for seasonally adjusted initial claims was down to 245,000, a decrease of 5,000 from the previous week's revised level. The previous week's level was revised up by 2,000 from 248 to 250. They were thinking it'd be 250 this week, but this week is 245. The four-week moving average was 245,000. That's an increase of 4,750 from the previous week and the highest level since August of 2023 when it was 246. Now, we report on this every single Thursday, and so you can imagine that I kind of got an analysis in my head. This is running about 20,000 higher than what we were seeing over the last couple of years. But guess what? What is nobody reporting? Go ahead, find it. Send me the link. What's nobody reporting? Well, last year we had thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people getting government jobs. And now we don't have anybody getting government jobs. In fact, we have people being eliminated from government jobs. So I've been talking about this for 6 months. Clearly, there's an impact from the fact that the government's not adding employees. It's just real. Total number of continued weeks claimed for benefits on all programs for the week ending May 31 was 1.8 million, which is an increase of 70,000 from the previous week. And so that would be also a little evidence, although last week we saw that dropped by a substantial amount. This week it's up by a substantial amount. But what it tends to say is that people are having a little harder time finding work, but it's still not a significant number yet. We'll see over time. This is important. This is an important part of how the economy is or isn't doing well. All right, let's look at where things are now. Tesla is up 2.33%. That is pretty much, I would say, close to the high of the day at 323.64, almost back to the 325 where we were kind of on Wednesday of last week, I think, before all of the craziness over the weekend. We got the Dow up 0.63, the NASDAQ up 0.63. That's interesting. And the S&P up 0.54. This is not anywhere close to the normal relationship between the three. And you also have Tesla up way more than the normal 2 to 3 times the NASDAQ. NASDAQ 60.64 and Tesla up 2.48, which would be 4 plus, almost 5 times. No, that'd be 4 plus rather, 4x. But that would be right now only an indication of the Tesla has been going down more than the NASDAQ and down more than the beta, the delta. I always forget which. Been going down more than the NASDAQ, the normal amount the last few days. So now that things are going back up again, it's kind of recovering that. But overall, there might be some FOMO in there as we get closer to the launch on Sunday with only 1.5 trading days left to go. Google is down. The rest of the Magnificent Seven are up, but all kind of in the same range as the NASDAQ. And the Cathie Woods are all up except for TDOC. TDOC's been up strongly. It is trending right now back towards being positive, and the Cathie Woods are up strongly this morning, not like Tesla. Kind of, again, we're looking at this. Cathie Woods and Tesla are kind of trading more alike than Tesla is trading like the NASDAQ. Okay, let's go, or like the Magnificent Seven for that matter. Okay, let's go ahead to the bonds. And by the way, what do we got here? We got the bonds down 4.2 basis points. That's great. 4.347. This is outstanding. Come on, bonds. Let's go back to 4.25 or less. We have got oil down a little bit this morning. All this will be indicative of the Israeli thing going into getting resolved. So oil is down 96 cents, back down to 73.88. We got natural gas, though, up 2.49. really getting close to $4 at $3.95. You got gold down a little bit, $1.70 at 3,405. Silver actually pairing its recent gains, a little profit taking, sitting at, it's down 0.70. It is at 36.89. Copper up though, 0.64 at 484. You've got the dollar mixed, and you've got Bitcoin down 333. That's hardly, that's like flat for Bitcoin, 104,683. All right. Iran threatens irreparable damage if the United States enters the Israeli conflict. Yeah, like what could they do? Okay. So later on today, regular programming. Well, not yet, not really. Jeff Lutz is, as far as I know, Jeff Lutz won't be back tonight. So Brian Wang will take his place at the 5 o'clock hour roughly, and at 7:45. It probably will be Brian Wang again. Actually, we'll have two Brian Wangs tonight. Brian and I recorded a fabulous video last night about Starship and Starlink and the future of that program. But also we went into talked about Tesla and drones and how Tesla fits in with Starlink and Starship, and whether or not there's some future where Tesla might also merge with Starlink. That's all. That's all on that show, which will be on at 7:45. I had trouble uploading it last night, so it will be on tonight. All else being equal, so many things happening today. You never know when there could be breaking news that I would do in that 7:45 time slot. Okay, what else? Oh yeah, last night was Brian White. Oh no, well, okay. You want to watch the Brian White? I will put that card up. It was really, really fun and good, but you definitely want to go back at the conversation I had with Nicholas Gibbs, which is always good. It was really good, so I'll put that card up as well. That's all I got for you, right? Oh, I should take a look just at Fun for Tesla just one more time. Just looking one last analysis here. Yes, we're going up further. We're almost up to 3%. We're over 325 at 325.58, and it's kind of on one of these. Okay, so who knows where we'll end the day? I suppose we could get into the 5% up day. But yeah, good news, all good news. It's the way I like it. It's been great talking to you.